If you're running Google Ads for your local business and you're getting just a bunch of junk leads, junk phone calls, and you don't know why, you want to figure out why people are calling your business for a bunch of irrelevant stuff. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through some of the things that might be going wrong and how you can try to figure out why you are getting those junk leads. So without wasting any time, let's jump into this campaign and I'll show you what to look for. So if you're running a campaign for your local business right now and your phone is just getting blown up by a bunch of junk leads, if you have phone calls coming through like this campaign does, but those phone calls are just really low quality, a lot of the times the issue is going to be an issue of traffic quality. Because if you're getting low quality traffic into your campaign, that is pretty much going to mean that your ads are not showing up for what is relevant to your business. Now, there's a handful of things we'll jump into as to why that is, but I wanted to kind of put that up front first because a lot of lead quality issues on Google Ads is going to be tied to the types of searches and the types of traffic that your ads are showing up for. So the first thing we're going to jump into is actually campaign types and why you might be maybe potentially not even running the right campaign type to get quality leads. So the main type of campaign that you want to run if you want to get high quality local leads for your business is you want to be running a Google search campaign. So this first option right here, everything else I tend to avoid for local businesses. Also, before I even get into these different campaign types, if you are running a smart campaign, so like a Google, they used to call it Google Express. I think they call it Google, smart campaigns now. They changed the name. It feels like every year. So if you're running some kind of Google Smart campaign or Google Ads Express, there's a very good chance that those could be driving lower quality leads because sometimes those work good for a little bit. But again, it's about getting the right people seeing your ads. And it's really, really hard to control those types of campaigns and those types of ads to actually get quality leads coming through them. So like I said, we want to run search campaigns. If you are running performance max campaigns, these tend to be, again, going back to traffic, really kind of low quality. You can do some things to try to control what your ads are showing up for, but from my own experience, from the experiences I've heard from a lot of other people, Performance Max for local lead generation is just not a very good choice. Maybe that'll change going forward, but from everything I have seen, from everything I've heard, lead quality that comes out of Performance Max campaigns is generally pretty up and down. Now, the other one that I see local businesses running a good amount when I'm auditing campaigns are display campaigns. Now, either they're running a display campaign specifically, or they've got it enabled within their search campaign. Again, for local businesses, we tend to just not really focus a ton on display campaigns unless you are doing a dedicated remarketing campaign, which is a whole other video, a whole other topic in and of itself. The reason I stay away from display campaigns is, again, going back to that same idea of your ads will be showing up all over the internet. The traffic quality can be a little bit low if you are not really on top of it and kind of doing it in the right ways. And what tends to happen with display campaigns is, again, you'll get low quality traffic. Low quality traffic will end up with low quality leads. You want to stick with your search campaigns. If you're not running a search campaign, you're running something like Performance Max, that before we even get into the other settings and search traffic stuff, that could be your issue up front. And like I said, if you are running a smart campaign, if you're running an express campaign, those could also be a couple of the reasons as well. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to hop into the campaign settings and we're going to go over a couple things there that could also be causing some junk leads to come through. All right, so assuming that you do have a Google search campaign set up, there's a couple things in your settings that could be causing junk traffic and junk leads to come through. So to get to your settings, just go to campaigns, go to settings over here. First thing we want to talk about are the networks right here. Now, under here, you want to make sure that both of these options are unchecked. I know this first one, Google makes it look like you are unchecking search network. You are not unchecking search network. You're unchecking Google search partners. That is just another network that Google will display ads on. So it's a bunch of different websites. Google is not super clear about where those ads get shown. So you want to uncheck search partners, and then you also want to uncheck display network. So the reason we want to uncheck search partners This used to be a pretty solid source of additional traffic to your campaign. Something changed in the past year or two where Google has started showing them, I guess, in places that are even more irrelevant. And people started getting hit with a bunch of people calling for jobs, calling for any manner of irrelevant stuff, and it was coming from search partners. So unchecked search partners, that can be a massive, massive help to filtering out that kind of stuff, because like I said, Google is just not very transparent about where that traffic gets shown. And then on top of that, going back to the earlier point about display network, you want to make sure display network is unchecked, because that is just going to get you a lot of clicks, and that might look good. But again, we're going to be kind of getting clicks from all over the internet. It's not going to be super targeted or focused. What you want is you want people in your local market searching for your services. And if somebody is on a news website or an app or something like that, seeing your ad, it's very irrelevant traffic. We don't want our ads showing up there. So make sure both of these options are unchecked. Next thing we want to do is we want to scroll down here to our location settings. And this is a really quick thing to check. I'm not going to go into all location setup and everything right now, but we just want to talk about location options right here. The biggest thing you want to make sure is that you don't want to have presence or interest, this first one selected. So this one, presence or interest, people in, regularly in, or have shown interest in your included locations. Google says it's recommended. But what can happen with this option is you could have somebody who is not even in your state, who might be searching, a keyword that is specific to your area, and you could get phone calls from out of state. And we want to avoid that. So in order to avoid that, we select the second one, presence, people in or regularly in your included locations. And that can help issues with, out of location leads and people calling from areas that you don't even service. There's other things that go into that as well, but that is one thing to double check to make sure you do not have enabled on your campaign. And that can help a ton with filtering out more irrelevant leads. And then the last thing we want to talk about, which hop into right now, is we want to talk about, if you have all those other things set up, we want to talk about search quality. How can you refine that? How can you get it better? Because like I said, if you're showing up for bad traffic, you're going to get bad leads. So let's jump into search traffic quality and how we can diagnose the issue and then try to fix it. So this is your search terms report. In order to see this, you log into your campaign, go under insights and reports, go to search terms, and it's going to pull up a list that looks something like this. And the key thing with this list is this is showing you exactly what your ads showed up for a particular search. Now, it's not going to show you every single little search term that you showed up for, because there's kind of privacy things, and Google's not going to be able to show you everything, but it's going to give you a really good idea of what your ads are showing up for. So before we even talk about keywords and negative keywords and all that, you want to come here and see what your ads are showing up for. This is specifically going to tell you if you have a traffic problem or not. If you do have a traffic problem, you have a lead problem, there's a good chance that you're looking at this right now and you're probably not seeing the traffic that you want to be seeing. If you didn't have a lead issue or a low quality lead issue, there's a pretty good chance that your traffic is already good. But if you're coming here with a lead issue, there's a pretty good chance you're going to look at this and then see traffic that you don't want to be showing up for. Now, things that you could show up for competitor searches, irrelevant kind of, services that aren't aligned with your business, totally irrelevant businesses. I see this all the time with local businesses when it comes to auditing their accounts. And this is the first thing that you want to look at. You want to look at this and see what kind of traffic you're getting. You're going to be able to make a judgment call on your end whether it's good or not. You should see high quality, high intent searches that are relevant to the services that you offer. This client right here is a pool service company. So you can see everything here is about pool service, pump repair, more pool service, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. But you want to make sure that all of this is relevant to your services because, like I said before, that is the foundation of getting high quality leads, is that high quality traffic. Now, if you don't see good quality searches here, there's going to be a handful of things causing it, which I'll get into in just a second. So number one, you're either not bidding on the right keywords. If you are bidding on the right keywords, number two, you're probably not using the right match types. And number three, on top of that, you might not have negative keywords in your campaign. So really quickly, I'm going to jump into those three things, walk through them really quick, and then sort of explain how that helps you improve the traffic on your campaign and then improve the quality of the leads. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the actual keyword selection itself. Sometimes when I audit campaigns, I go in and I see very, I guess you could say generic keywords. We want to pick out keywords that are very high intent and pretty much show that somebody is specifically looking for a service in their local area. So you can see the keywords on here: pool service near me, pool care near me, pool cleaning service near me. Going down the list, I know I have other things in here about, things as specific as pool light replacement, pool acid washing. There we go. Pool acid wash near me. Things like that are very, very specific to what you offer, and they show a high level of buyer intent. You don't just want to have really, really vague keywords. Like in this case, if I just had pools in there or pool company, those are going to be way too vague and don't have enough intent behind them. We want high intent keywords as the keywords we're bidding on. Now, the second part of what I talked about before was we need to use what are called match types. So this list right here, you can see I have exact match and phrase match. There are three different types of match types. There's exact match, phrase match, and broad match. I do not use broad match on pretty much all of my keywords. So in this column right here, if you are not seeing, like if you're seeing broad match right here, or on the keywords themselves, if you're seeing no little brackets, no quotes, it's just the keyword, that is a broad match keyword. And broad match keywords, as the name might suggest, will show for a very, very broad range of searches, which can drive a lot of irrelevant traffic. And that's why I avoid them, is because Google will pretty much take your ads and show them for anything they deem even remotely kind of relevant to that keyword. So on your end, you want to make sure you're tightening things down with exact match and phrase match keywords. Those match types will help you kind of constrain the traffic a little bit and make sure you're showing up for more relevant traffic. And then the third thing that you want to make sure that you have here is going into negative keywords. We want to have a very large list of negative keywords, and we want to constantly be building on it regularly. So negative keywords, as the name might suggest, are kind of the opposite of a keyword. These are telling Google what I do not want my ads to show up for. And you can see right here, the list on this campaign is up to 3,100 at this point. So you want to have a big list of negative keywords, because this is going to help you cut out more garbage traffic. And the more garbage traffic you cut out, the better that lead quality is going to be. So combine those three things. That should help you get better quality leads on your campaign and help you figure out why you might not be getting good quality leads in the first place. So that's it for this video. Hopefully it helped you figure out why you might be getting some low quality leads on your Google Ads campaign, some ways you can try to diagnose the issue, and if you want to solve it yourself, how you can actually go ahead and solve it yourself. So if you are a business owner looking for somebody to actually build, manage, and optimize a Google Ads campaign for you, so you don't have to deal with low quality leads or optimizing or kind of being on top of it, there's a link in the description below for a free consultation. You can fill that out, sends over a form to me. I can see if I can help you out. And if I feel like we're a good fit, we can hop on the phone and see if we can't work together. But if you are somebody also that wants to do this DIY, you want to do all this yourself, in the description below, there's also going to be a link over to my free Google Ads course. It shows you how to set up all of this, as well as links to other videos for how to optimize and everything like that. So if that's more up your avenue, there's a link over to that content. But in the meantime, if you want to see more stuff like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more content, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.